kind of getting into full swing of boating season. And one thing that always is talked about is how do you fish, how do you catch fish, what knots, yada, 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 all that stuff. But we never talk about safety. And for me being in a 26-foot boat, right, we're not super big. It's not huge, all right? Safety is super, super, super important to me, my crew, my charters, anybody. Safety is the number one thing to pay attention to. All right, so the first thing, this right here. This has all my life jackets in it. All right, if the boat tends to go down for whatever reason, this is at the highest point. So I will be able to get my life jackets out. It's a zipper. I just unzip it right here. The whole thing comes out. All the life jackets fall. I have my EPIRB. All right, so I have an inReach. This is an SOS inReach. And I have an EPIRB. Both of these things are right here. They're easy to get a hold of. Even if this thing goes down in minutes, they're the first things that I grab. The other thing that I have is a ring. All right, a throwable ring. This right here, somebody goes off, whatever happens, I can throw the ring out. It's not a big deal, right? Get it back. It's no problem. I have a ditch box. This floats. All right. This has my flares. It has my captain's license. It has any important paperwork. It has a whistle. It's got a little bit of everything. So anything that is needed from a safety standpoint is in that box. I also buy these things in hopes that I never have to use them. And I kind of go by, if I have it and don't need it, I don't want to need it and not have it. So, that's something that I really pay attention to from a safety standpoint. The other thing, too, is that I also have a life raft on this boat. All right? It's bolted to the top right there. I unclip it, pop it off, pull the string, it pops out. So, again, this is at the top of the boat. If this boat goes down, that is easy to get to. Like I said, 2 straps, pop it off, and that's it. So these are things that are overlooked, and people always say it's not going to happen to me. Well, it will happen to you if you don't take the right precautions. So just like your radios, that you have in your car and whatnot, if you have Sirius XM. Okay, so this is Sirius XM Marine. This hooks into my units. The biggest thing is that it gives me weather reports, because the weather gets bad, or maybe I see clouds, but I'm like, okay, is that thing coming to me? Is it going away? Where's it at? That right there, I can pull it right up on my Garmin's, and it works out great. My Starlink is right above me. It sits right up there. And that gives me Wi-Fi offshore. So, if I'm going over to Florida or the Bahamas or North Carolina, or even fishing the 80 miles offshore that I do fish, there's nothing that would really relate to Starlink or the accessibility to be able to have cell phone service offshore. Now, okay, what happens if your electronics shut off? Well, that's what the EPIRB is for, and the inReach. I really focus on kind of going up and above in the safety fashion. People are like, oh, you have a 26-foot boat, but I have just as much safety gear, if not more safety gear than, some of these 80-foot yachts that are out there. These big sport fishers, I have the same safety gear because I don't want to be stuck in the situation where the boat goes down and then I'm sitting there floating on, my whatever's left over. So, it's just something I think that needs to be touched on and talked about and paid attention to, because the safety gear gets overlooked consistently. And, an EPIRB and life jackets is what saved those guys in Alabama. No, don't go cheap on that stuff. Spend the money. Keep yourself safe.